My name is Abina Johnson, and this is Focus on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape Mount to Cape Palmer, mountain back to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Country, to educate, elevate, and promote. Talk about home affairs, hey, in diaspora, current affairs, hey, reliable information, history, talking about culture, hey, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday.
Hello to everybody. Welcome to Focus on Liberia. And today we're looking between the headlines. My name is Alex Cuffy, your host, and I have my man Gabriel M. Carter, who is at controls, co-hosting this segment of the Focus on Liberian program, Between the Headlines. Today we'll look at the election results. We'll take a deep dive into the prospect for a runoff. We'll also be taking a deep dive into the 55th National Legislature that will be coming up. And then we'll be having a beautiful conversation here. Liberia is at election, and everything about Liberia is election. People hearts beating. But I'll say welcome to our audience. Thank you for listening to the show today. And those who will listen to it afterwards, Focus on Liberia is where we promote everything Liberia. Once again, greetings to all our audience. With me today, we have Dr. Saki Gulafale, we have Maka Patmo, and we have Maume Ambula Mame, and not forgetting, again, Gabriel Carter. Maybe everybody can take a little snapshot as few seconds to introduce yourself. I will start with Gabriel.
Yeah, Alex, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here. I think this is probably my first time on the Between the Headlines. So I want to learn, and as much, hopefully I can contribute as well. But I want to learn from these bright minds, some of the bright minds we have here. So, and let's talk everything about politics. I don't like it, but let's get into it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll move to Mame.
Yes, it's good to be here. Ambulai, I supported Councillor Tiawon Kongolo. Unfortunately, we're not heading into the second round, but we remain committed to a better Liberia. So it's good to talk about the results.
Great. Dr. Gulafale.
It's muted, or we can't hear you. No, you're muted.
You're still muted, Gulafale.
So either you disconnect the line to your headphone, if it's charging.
Okay, Mr. Padma, go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. I believe it's my first time on Between the Headlines, but I'm glad to be here. I'm always glad when it's opportune for me to speak about the progress of Liberia, where we're going, and how we can all collectively get there. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming. And this is your second time, by the way, Michael. We were here yesterday. Last night
I was
was
here
Between the
yesterday.
Headlines.
Yes.
Yeah. So again, Dr. Gulafale.
Still.
Yeah, you even though you're on mute, but we're still not hearing.
Let me give you a quick check. So I have the same headphone that you do, probably the same one. So sometimes when you connect it, when you're charging it while you're on, you will not be able to hear yourself unless there's a wireless way to connect it. Do you have the wireless connection to the laptop? If not, if you're charging it at the same time, you won't be able to hear yourself. Just a quick tip. Or turn it off and turn it back on. It should either do the trick, right?
So whilst Dr. Gulafale is solving the technical problems there,
yeah, do that. Yeah.
While Dr. Gulafale is logging off to solve the technical problem there, today once again, I think it was day 7 of the National Election Commission announcing results. Now we've gone 98.4% of the votes. So that level, if we know math, I don't know math yet, but that would be level 1.6, and that's what Gabriel.
Yep.
So it will be level 1.6. Now, with these votes, I mean, with the 98.4%, we already have a line of the leading candidates, right? So again, it looks most likely that it's going to go to a runoff election. So today we'll be looking at the runoff elections. We'll be taking a deep dive into that. But before we do that, let's look at the candidates as they stand.
Can we test? Can we test Dr. Gulafale and see if he
can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah,
you can do your intro.
All right.
Oh yeah. Again, just wanted to say thank you, Alex. Thank you, Gabriel, and the rest of the panelists here for having this. I think my first time talking with some of you. Most of you we've been talking. Amulai. I look forward to our exchange with Pat, Carter, and Cuffy. Thank you. I look forward to a very good conversation.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I look at this the first 6 places, right, where it's been a seesaw battle between George Weah and Joseph Walker. Right now, at the 98.4% of the polling places, that is 5,796 polling places of the total of 5,890 polling places have been counted. Mm-hmm. So if you put all the votes together, even though there were 2.4 million people who registered to vote, as of now, the valid plus the invalid vote is about 1.9%, making it about 78% turnout, which is impressive. So as it stands now, George Weah has 43.79% of the total vote count, valid vote. Joseph Walker is in the second position with 43.49%. Edward Appleton is in the third position with 2.2%. Licini Camara is in the fourth position with 1.97%. Mr. Cummins, Alexander Cummins, is in the fifth position with 1.61%. And our rule of law czar, Councillor Tiawon Gonglo, is in the sixth position with 1.44%. The rest of the candidates, if you subtract if you subtract 6 from 20, the rest of the 14 candidates make up 5.50% of the vote. So, Mame, how does it look now? What is the feeling? Is it going to run off? Is it not going to run off? You're the number guy.
We have already estimated that the election will go to a runoff. Based on our model and the results we received from the National Elections Commission, we projected that George Weah would be slightly going towards the first round. I'm trying to update that model today based on the results that we receive, which is providing an indication that not because Bwaka is at top today, but because of the remaining votes and where they're coming from, we updated the model, and it seems like Bwaka could be slightly ahead of George Weah as they go towards the runoff of the election. But whatever the case is, there will be a runoff. Nobody will win on the first ballot. All the story about first round victory, there's a whole narrative behind that. We can go into that another time as we discussed it. But just for your question specifically, the numbers tell us that you cannot have a first ballot victory given what we have now. The vote is hugely divided in the upper trunk of the model, and it's between two candidates.
Yeah.
The rest of the other people are sharing few of the votes. If you see the average of all the two major candidates' percentage of the different counties they've won, they are winning on average between 43, 44, 45% on average. Even though we are getting 78, 80 in some counties, but when you do average with the other counties, between 45. So if over 90% of the vote have already been tallied, and the average percentage of the two top candidates have not passed 47, 46, 47, it is unlikely that a single candidate can win over 75% or 80% of the remaining small turning votes, right? So just based on that trend, first round is not possible. We're looking forward to the second round. We estimated that George Weah will be slightly above Joseph Boakai going towards the second round. But based on today's result and where the remaining results are, and based on Boakai's performance, we updated the model, and it seems that Boakai could be slightly above Weah moving into the second round, which is a boost for the opposition.
Can you be a little specific on those areas that you're talking about according to the?
Yeah,
the
I
model?
want to hear specifically what when you talk about this slightly ahead, like what do you control for in your model?
Yeah, Gabriel, you're correct, because they've been going CISA.
Right. So what are your controls? What are you
Baka
controlling and what are you taking away?
Yeah, Mr. Baka was leading 0.5% now. Jaria seems to be leading 0.3% as opposed to 0.05%. So 0.3% is higher than 0.05%. And Jaria has been sort of leading, most recent announcement.
So based on today's result and the remaining counties, we see that a good chunk of votes still to be counted in the Magibi.
Okay.
We have seen over the time Boakai's performance in Magibi compared to 2017 has increased significantly. That is up to 23% increase in Joseph Boakai's performance in Magibi County. So looking at his performance in Magibi County, and he's likely to win Magibi County, looking at his performance in Magibi County, we feel that the remaining votes in Magibi County, he will have higher share of that vote compared to Weah.
What about Weah's performance in our county?
Weah's performance in Magibi County has relatively declined compared to 2017. Even though it is significant, but compared to 2017 first round, Weah's performance in Magibi has declined.
What was it?
In Monserrado County.
Do you have it?
Yeah. I have it. Unfortunately, I didn't set it as a talking point,
Yeah.
so I will have to
Okay.
be going through the
Yeah,
model together, which is not good for the show.
Gabriel, let's
No, the
focus
reason,
on,
let me say, the reason
Gabriel,
why
let's
I
focus on
asked,
2023. Let's
right, the
focus on
reason why I
2023.
asked, because if you're going to compare two people, you got to be able to just give this person and then give this one, like give the numbers, like that's how you argue, like give
Okay.
the
No,
other.
but Gabriel,
Anyway, let's leave that. Let's leave that.
So,
Gabriel,
so for my GB,
Gabriel, I'm the moderator here, so let's
Right,
focus
right,
on
right.
2023.
saying one the number. So for my GB job, our performance has decreased by -4%. Joseph Burger has increased by over 20%, 23%. Joseph Burger has increased by 23%. George Weah has decreased by 4% in my GB County.
Okay.
In
Well,
Monserrato County, okay.
Yeah, Monserrato, go ahead.
Monserrato County, Burger has almost doubled his performance compared to 2017. In Monserrato County.
Mhm.
So what we're saying is, given the number of votes left in Monserrato, my GB, Grand Cape Mount County, and few other places in the southeastern region, and given Boaca's 23% performance in Magibi County compared to 2017, it is likely that they will go to the second round with Boaca at the top. We are estimating Boaca to be 1.35% more than George. We are going towards the second round.
So you're using correlation,
Come
right?
again?
You're using correlation.
We're basically using Boaca's current performance in Magibi County and the other counties to project his performance
So
in the
you're
remaining.
correlating it from 17 to 2023, correct? That's the
No,
correlation.
to project.
No, he's not correlating.
I'm not correlating.
He's not correlating.
To project Boaca's performance at the end of the tally, we're using his current performance and just matching it against the remaining vote that left. So if he's performing over 23% in 90% of the vote or 95% of the vote, the remaining 2% or 3% of the vote will say that percentage increase in his vote will not change.
So there's a correlation that it won't change because of what he's doing currently.
Yes,
That's
but it's with 2023,
right.
not 2017.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say. Right.
Okay.
Anyways, go ahead, Alex.
Okay, great. So your projection, Dr. Golafale, what says you?
Yeah, thanks, Ambulai. I think that's a brilliant analysis. But what I have to say is that in that regards, and whenever you see, I will talk this from a non-partisan perspective.
Yep.
It's unprecedented in our recent elections. So for an incumbent to get the number of votes and percentage compared to previous elections where we go into first round, it has not been the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think the previous elections, the incumbent didn't get the number of votes to go neck to neck with the opposition like this. I think in previous elections, CDC was stopping in the first round. Yeah, Amula, if you're looking at the data, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm saying this is unprecedented, and it gives hope to the ruling party, one, but it also does not negate the fact that the opposition has an edge, because there is the both of them combined about 87% votes they took, valid votes. So there's at least 12% out there that voted against them. So they're going to go for to grab those votes that are outside. And per Amulai's analysis, I think, yes, I agree with the performance has increased for Joe Boakai. And I think it was a slap in the face of the CDC for Magibi to be taken over by UP. And then Monserrato seems to be a neck to neck, which doesn't favor the CDC that much, because going to the second round is still going to be a tight race, I think. And if all factors are held constant, Monserrato pretty much might go green. Magibi will go green. And think about it, the other counties that are strongholds. We're gonna go there. We're gonna come there. But I agree with Amulai's analysis. I think it makes sense.
Padmo, what do you say about the possibility of a second round?
Yeah, we all, well, not we all, but a majority of people kind of sensed this is what it was going to be. That there was going to be a second round. We just, I don't think anybody predicted it was going to be this close. We really thought that CDC was going to sneak into a second round with Unity Party.
Yeah.
We thought Unity Party was going to have a commanding lead, and CDC was going to sneak into the second round. And to see the numbers that CDC have been able to put up has been very, very surprising. It's been an eye opener. But I never bought into the one round. It just didn't seem feasible. I mean, with Gonglo and Cummings and Moniba, I mean, even with the dismal numbers, I just didn't buy into this one round thing. So here we are going to a second round.
We were moved into looking at one of the important aspects of this voting. Right now, the National Election Commission is saying that there's a 77.7% turnout, which total so far, which total 1.9 million. But there's an element of invalid votes. So we'll take a deep dive into that. But before I go into that, I'd like to ask Gabriel. We have two candidates or two parties performing. They're taking what, 43 plus 43, they're taking 43 plus 43, do the math plus 1. 43 plus 43 is what, 86 plus
87.28%.
Yeah, they're taking, 87% of the vote. What is happening to the other candidates? What is at play here, Gabriel?
First of all, I want to echo what Mr. Palmer said. I think the whole narrative about one round election. I think if you look at the number of candidates in the race, that should just tell you that it was impossible because of the number of candidates in the race, right? Because some way, somehow, if you campaign, you would have gotten a little bit of, support. You would have gotten votes, right? So that means that whole, the election was fragmented. Yes, we understand there are the top 3 or top 4, but at the bottom, the rest of the bottom 16, because I think there was 20 candidates, it was fragmented. So if you were if you were go in numbers, you would have known that hey, this was literally impossible to clear a one round vote. As far as the other candidate, I think, and this is where it is good to have a good political strategist going into this election. Again, it goes back to what I said. If you know you have that many candidates in a race, you would have known that those candidates, you should have first compared their policies to your policies. If they're similar, that means those candidates will be stealing some of your votes. That's one, right? Because you guys have similar policies. It will be hard for voter to differentiate. They'll say, oh, I like Mr. Golofale policy. It's kind of similar to Mame's policy. So, I'm kind of splitting between. So people will be stealing your votes depending on how close you guys' policies are towards each other, right? So that's the first thing. If you're a political strategist in this campaign, the first thing you should have thought about, right? And I think that's what most of the candidates at the bottom of the totem pole did to the rest of the top 4 people, and I don't think that people at the top 4 thought about these guys at the bottom will be stealing our vote. So I think most of those guys at the bottom were just people that just came in to steal votes, because I don't think they really, unless I was, not following the politics, I don't think I saw most of them campaigning a lot besides Mr. Gonglo. What's the other guy's name? Dr. Is it Monoba? How you say it, right? Besides those two, I don't think I saw anybody else campaigning as effective as they were. So this is why I thought, this was a big surprise for, the Appleton effect, who just came out of. We thought Gongolo was supposed to be the dark horse in this race. And, somebody else end up, coming with a sledgehammer and just throw him out of the race and becoming a dark horse in this race. But I think if I would say this quickly and I'll end, I think if the top 4 people have thought about their policies and how similar they were to some of these people at the bottom, they would have accounted for some of their votes being stolen by these people. And therefore, they would have thought more about how do you differentiate yourself from these people so people can say, hey, these guys were similar. So that way your voters don't end up voting for those people because they thought your votes were, your policies were similar. So I think that's what most of those guys did. They were just, how do you call it, monkeys that were thrown in a wrench. And I don't think the top 4 people paid attention to that.
So you use the word stolen. Do you actually believe in the results?
No, I absolutely believe in the result. In a way, I believe in the result because I think, again, for me, I could be wrong here, and you guys keep me honest. I think it goes back to what I said. I think it's just, it could be the similarity in policies. I really like Mr. Gonglo. I like Dr. Monaba as well. I like how they campaign. But I don't think there was any foul play except besides the opportunity, because I don't see how the guy just came out of nowhere and but I don't think there was something intentional. I just think people maybe they got him confused with somebody else and they voted for him, or maybe he just campaigned undercover and people really bought into his message. But besides that, I believe the votes are what they are,
So we're going to a second round, and that second round, the 2 leading parties are the CDC, the Coalition of Congress for Democratic Change, and the Unity Party, and they're leading with 43% of the vote, leaving everybody else behind. Padmo, are we going into a two-party country?
That's a great question. Yeah.
I don't think we're going into a two-party system country. I think that's where we are right now. I think that's just where we are right now. And 6 years from now, we could be in a totally different dynamic. If you look back, 2017, it was everybody against Unity Party, and nobody really trusting CDC for obvious reasons. So you saw a lot higher number. You saw ANC with 100 and something thousand. You saw Prince Johnson pull 100 and something thousand. You saw Bromskin pull 100 and something thousand. And I think this 2023 is a different dynamic. Right now, we're looking at a two-party system. I think depending on how these elections go, for example, I think if Unity Party is defeated in these elections, I really believe that will be the decline of Unity Party. I believe that they would decline significantly, losing twice to CDC and not having a direct leader that kind of usurps and takes over. Omen Boyka will be well past his, he already there, but he will be even further past his prime. And so it will be, I think there'll be a splinter. I predict that United Party will break up.
And you don't think other people could spring up? No,
I think United Party will break up. United Party is a coalition. People forget that.
United Party is Unity Party.
No. Ellen brought in 3 parties to form Unity Party.
Yep.
People forget that.
Yep.
That's not the original ever case of Unity Party.
No, we know that consistently over the past few years they've been running
because they were winning. When you win, it's easy to do those things.
But they lost in 2017 and they stay here in 2020.
Yes. When they lost in 2017, right? When they lost in 2017, it was unexpected. It was a shock to them. Okay. And I think everybody just kind of went into a little coma. Losing twice, I believe Lap will walk away from United Party, and I believe all the other small parties that they brought in I believe there will be a splinter, and that's just my group. When you lose, it's very tough to lose and maintain the status quo.
Yes.
Okay. I think Lap is going to be there. You know why United Party? Because the United Party brand is people like people continue to hold it towards corruption. There's something about that United Party, and I think Lap and other parties will be like, you know what? This brand is tinted. we need to walk away from it and go back to what we used to be. That's just my prediction.
Saki, where is your counter to that?
You're muted.
No, he's not muted. He still on that. He still have that issues.
Yeah, I think you got to turn it back on and turn it back off.
Okay, let's flip it. While Saki is getting his thing ready, let's flip it to Dr. Mame. Mame, what's the flip on the CDC side? Do you think CDC can survive as a party? Whether CDC win this election or not? If they don't win the election, if they win it 6 years after, what happens to CDC?
Before I go there, I wanted to say something, if you can allow me.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Doug is back.
But go ahead. You continue.
Okay.
You go ahead.
So before I address that, if you allow me, let me say something. There's something very, very important that we are missing, or we're not capturing in the numbers from the election.
Go ahead.
Joseph Boakai and the Unity Party have done something unprecedented in Liberia's electoral history. Since we started conducting election, the Unity Party has been the only party in opposition to pull up to 40% of the vote in the first round. It has never happened before. Never.
But it has also never happened with the CDC.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying to be in opposition and pull up to 40% of the vote, it has never happened. Jackson Doe got 26%. If you consider Chatero as incumbent, Ellen got 9.58%. Winston Churchman got 32%. George Weah got 38% in 2017. Joseph Boakai is the only opposition candidate that fight an incumbent neck to neck to go up to 40% of the vote. I think that is something they should go into the second round with. Another thing Saki said I wanted to correct is comparing CDC's performance to 2017, because 2017 is the benchmark that the both of them contested on. So we're measuring them on that. CDC only added 5.03% on their vote, percentage point, because they were 38.76 in the first round in 2017, 38.76. Today in the first round, they are 43.79. That's only 5.03 percentage point increase in their vote. Joseph Boakai was 28% in 2017 first round. Today he's 43.49. That is 14.67 percentage point increase, almost double his performance from 2017. What that tells me and any other person looking at the data is there is a rejection of George Weah in terms of his performance using 2017 as the baseline, and there's a huge pool of people to Joseph Boakai comparing to his 2017 performance as a baseline. Because this man was 28% first round. Today he's 43. George Weah was 38. Today he's 43. That's just 5 percentage point increase. So this massive increase in Joseph Boakai's performance while sitting as opposition, an old man who's supposed to have died in July, right?
Be careful what you say on here, my man. We don't want to get sued.
I mean, no, that's what they said. I'm just saying what people said.
He's quoting, yeah.
I'm quoting. An old man who people say supposed to have died in July, supposed to fall down and die.
My mic still on?
Yes.
An old man who people say is supposed to have fallen and died in July. No resources. Strangulated.
Mami, the question then, let's come back to the question. The question is will CDC survive? Whether we are wins 2023 or his tenure ends in 2029.
It will not be different. It will not be different from other political parties. The way political parties are structured in Liberia, they structure around the governance of the state. The resources of the state are what they use to keep their windows open and their roof on the top. So once the other power the likelihood for them to be strong is just less for them to be strong. So
no, I
this
can
thing that happened
agree with you, because Unity Party has been since a long time now.
yeah, so the point I'm making is United Party has just been out for 5 to 6 years, and you can see the extent to which they are struggling for resources to manage their campaign. You can see the extent to which they are struggling for resources to get pool washers to go and deploy. So the political party structure in Liberia, they survive on the state. That's just fair. It's not about Unity Party, it's not about CDC, it's not about MPP, it's not about NDPL. That's how it is
So the
structured.
question is, will CDC survive after George?
I don't think so. It would be the same with the MPP. It would be the same with the Unity Party. They will be struggling for resources all around.
Let's flip that.
Yeah. Let me say
on the Unity Party side of things.
Yeah, I kind of try to differ. I want to differ with Mr. Podmore on the issue of the Unity Party, going out of existence after, even if, God forbid, they are defeated in this election. Yeah, Unity Party is the only organized political institution in Liberia. When I say only well-organized political institution in Liberia. Ellen was there. People said these things that after Ellen, there'd be no Unity Party, but Unity Party is still maintaining the structure. And I agree with Amulai when he talked about it's unprecedented for an opposition to pull the number of votes, but it's equally unprecedented in our recent elections for a ruling party to have the number of votes they have. It's fair enough to balance it.
Ellen got 43.
Right? I mean, that's why I said correct me if I'm wrong. She got
43.
Yeah,
the correction is Ellen got 43.
Okay, then I take that correction.
Which year did Ellen get 43?
2011.
2011?
Yeah.
I mean the first round?
Yes,
in the first round.
She got 43?
43.9%.
Okay, then I take the correction. But then I buy your analysis about Unity Party as an opposition, all right? But going back to what Mr. Padmo said, I think it's very critical to know which party will continue on this whole thing. CDC is the only party that relies on George Weah for existence. Without George Weah, there's no CDC. When George Weah is voted out, that's the end of CDC, I believe. You're going to see all these guys who hang on George Weah to get elected, where he used to raise their hand and they get elected. That whole morale is dying down. Once George Weah is out of the picture, CDC will what? Be non-existent. The Unity Party will continue to be in existence. God forbid, 100 times 100, this election, the second round, Unity Party is going to win it. And it's going to remain a vibrant institution in Liberia till I don't know what time. Another thing to address is the issue of, I think I heard, it slipped my mind. I took a comment on it. The issue of I would think about it. But yeah, a two-party state. That's what I was about to talk about.
Yeah.
Now, the issue of two-party state with the status of CDC right now, I don't think they stand a chance. Once they lose this election, they're going to exist as a strong opposition. We're looking at a party, if the ANC or CPP continues, they tend to be a strong party. But yes, we are narrowing down to a two-party state. I stated it before. I said that the election is about CDC versus UP. All other parties are spectators. They just come to collect the crumbs, the vote crumbs. Like 12%, at least 12% of the vote goes to what? The other parties. And 87.2 something percent goes to the two parties. That indicates that it's a what? CDC versus UP thing. And if CDC continues to survive after George Weah, which I doubt, we're going to have another party coming up. But yeah, there's going to be a two-party kind of thing as we go along in subsequent elections.
Can I respond? Can I respond to a couple of things here? So first, let me correct my brother Golofai.
We need to move to invalid votes. But
okay. All right. So really quickly, I didn't say United Party is going to go out of existence. They will continue to exist, but they will split up. That's what I mean. United Party will become the original United Party, and lap and other people will go. The next thing I wanted to clarify real clearly is the question concerning whether CDC will survive if CDC loses. I believe if CDC loses, CDC will become the majority opposition party. CDC will use what United Party used When United Party lost in 2017, they used their numbers. That's why United Party has stood on and say, we got the numbers from 2017. We should be the majority opposition, the leading opposition party. I believe CDC will do the same. They will stay on that 700,000 number and say, even though we just left power, but we are the leading opposition party, and they will seize that moment. And 6 years from now, we'll be talking about United Party CDC going head to head again. That is if CDC loses.
But something to consider, as elections come and go, the voters become more educated. Our elections are becoming issues-based as we move along. So right now, CDC has no platform. They've presented nothing to the people. And you've seen where the vote, 55% of the vote, 56% of the people voted against CDC.
Yes.
That should tell you that they're not ready for CDC. Whatever CDC is coming next, they should come with the issues. What are the issues? 6 years from now, we're not going to be the same. We're not going to be talking the same politics. It's not about party mandate anymore. It's about the issues, the bread and butter issues. And Unity Party is coming back stronger than before to tackle all of those issues that CDC have failed, knowing they failed to tackle. So people will be about the issues, the bread and butter issues. They're not just going to run because CDC is the majority. I don't think so.
Saki, even these elections are not about issues.
I know. That's why I say as we move on, it will become issues-based as we go on.
Yes. So I believe that look, CDC, the one effective thing CDC has been is an opposition party.
Yeah.
CDC is a very, very effective opposition party. On day one, if United Party wins and takes over, trust me, and mark my words, if they take over in January, right, by March, there will be protests. CDC will put people in the street for any reason they can come up with. That is their strength. But I'll leave it there.
So let me, Alex, please.
Let Greg take us on this issue, then we'll move to the invalid vote.
I don't know if I'm taking us on because I have a statement and a questions for you guys. Because you guys, I keep hearing this two-party state, and as if Liberia, if it is, please, I would love to see that democracy is progressing to a place where, hey, in a campaign, there's only going to be two-party, where we have here the Republican and the Democrats, right? In that kind of structure, there's one, institutions that people gravitate towards, there's ideology, there's economic policies, there's ethos that people gravitate towards. Say, oh, I love Tiablon Gongos as the LPP, right? I love the LPP's ethos. I love the economic policies. I love the institution. I love that, hey, they have what we call a leadership structure in place, that when he leaves, there's always somebody else willing to take over. That is an institution. That is the ethos. Those are values that people gravitate towards, right? We keep talking about the two-party state as if this is what is happening. And you guys are contradicting yourself, saying, hey, if this person leaves, that means the party is done. So that doesn't put us in a two-party state anymore. That means any party can rise up from anywhere and mount up to become the dominant party in the elections. CDC does not have an institution. They're fairly new. Unity Party, even though they've been around for a long time, they don't have I'm sorry to say, they don't have a platform, and contrary to what you guys are saying, that no election has been about issues, not in anywhere in our history. I was hoping this one was going to be. So the question now that I'm posing to you guys, what do you guys think will drive people to this party that will now make them their darling, to say, I'm committed to this party as my party because of the ethos, the values, how they care for their citizens, what they want to do for the country, and all of that, for which they want to be part of that party? Or is it because is it going to be another crowd base? Please. Yeah.
So Gilbert, I would take on your question, and we'll move to get ready with the chat there, so we can show you on the invalid votes.
Right.
Let me say this. All right. Let me go to Ghana. Right. But before I go to Ghana, let me come to America. Correct me if I'm wrong. in America too, even though they have the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, but they have several other parties, right?
Yeah.
And they
There's the
have
Green
other
Party.
independent candidates who register. I know where his the musician what's his name?
Kanye?
He also Kanye West also registered to,
Yeah.
to run as president. So
Yeah.
it happens in America, but do we see the Green parties and this other independent? We want to see Democrats and Republicans. If you
Exactly.
take that to our near neighboring country, Ghana has several parties. Ghana has the NDC and the NPP, right? Which are the leading party from Nkrumah, I mean from Jerry Rawlings' time.
Roland. Yeah.
And these are the two parties. But do you know that they have the CPP, which is a big part? I mean, from the Western region, which is a big party too. But they're not gravitating to the point where they're taking votes, right? And they have other parties. Now, it's the same thing. We're not saying legally by law we should do two parties state. But what we're saying is the same situation in Ghana, where because of the votes, you have all these other parties from 2005, from year in, year out, we'll be getting 1 point something percent, 0 point something percent. And you're seeing it in the 2023 election. You've seen all these 2% and 1% and 0%. I mean, ANC, I projected ANC would have come a distant third in this election, for example. I mean, maybe we're going to have around 10%, 30%, anything between 10 to 15%. But yeah, we're talking about 1 point something percent. So election is about numbers. So how do people gravitate towards these parties? And you have CDC and UP that's having, it is 87% of the vote. So how do you have people gravitating towards this party to become a formidable party? Don't forget, and I agree with Padmo. CDC has been in the opposition until they won in 2017. And it's a grassroots party. And I believe, I mean, again, I will not put my neck on the line with Padmo on this one, but I believe that the kind of grassroots NDC, Jerry Rawlings kind of grassroots situation that CDC has, other people will rise to the occasion. Even in the absence of George Weah, other people will rise to the occasion to kind of harness that grassroots base. And I don't think, again, I will not put my head and neck on the chopping board. I don't believe that Unity Party would die. I don't believe that CDC would die. So let's except you have a comment, let's move to time will tell, TWT. Except anybody has a comment, but let's move to invalid votes.
Perfect.
Saki, your thing is off again.
Yeah, I think we'll move to invalid votes.
Let's move to Gabriel. Let's move. This year we were making noise about invalid vote. Oh, there's why is it invalid vote? But when you show that, Saki, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was saying that I think the records are there that show that George Weah 5 to 6 years of misrule has put a stain on the CDC. Going forward, the voters know what CDC brings to the table. It's nothing but corruption, destruction, bad governance. And the Unity Party is going to take this country back and put it in its right place. And the people know. That's why you see the number of votes going towards the UP. The people know who can better put the country in the right place because UP took it from a very failed state and they presented it to CDC. They almost taking us back to where we came from. So the electors know. So with that in mind, CDC has no chance in the next, 2029. Don't even think about CDC. Who's going to come on? Without George Weah again, I can bet there'll be no CDC. And who's going to come and wear CDC's garment to say, I'm running on CDC? Just by hearing CDC, people are going to run away. So we're looking at parties that are going to come up like, I hope the ANC going to come to compete. I hope other parties, the LPP, they're going to come and compete. But with CDC, I don't think there's any hope for them in the future for the presidency.
We heard that about the Unity Party too, though. We thought it was going to die.
Because Unity Party had a vibrant group of people that are organized enough, not like the CDC that relies only on George Weah for hope.
Okay.
The Unity Party is still existing.
Okay.
Let's move on to the chart, but let me remind you here, Saki, there are three different types of seditions.
Mm.
There are the diehard sedition, who I don't care what you do to them, they support. There are the disgruntled sedition,
The
who the
Lester,
pendulum,
Lester,
the
Penny.
verse because they didn't benefit. And there are the important group, the repentant seditions. Those are the highly educated, qualified, and independent-minded people that George will ostracize, and they are sitting on the fence willing to come back to take the party.
Mhm.
So that group, beware and be warned.
Got you.
All
Let's
right.
move on, Gabriel.
All right,
Having
Vamonos.
said that. So you see the chart on the board. It was done by my own friend Rufus S. Barrett. The second, let me give him the credit for his work. We pulled this off on Facebook. He posted it on his page. Great analysis. So looking into the invalid vote, we're making noise. So far, we have 112,000 or
1 million.
112,875, which make up 5.88%.
Which one?
In 2017, we have 5.39%
Oh, you
invalid
know.
vote.
Okay.
2011, we had 6.37% invalid vote. 2005, where we had the first election post-war, we have just 3.84% of invalid vote. Gentlemen, we don't have a lady. What is going on with this whole invalid vote business? Is it due to the placement of somebody on the ballot? Is it due to people get vexed and poke a hole on the thing? Is it due to what other people may describe? What is wrong? Let me start with Gabriel.
All right. So for me, I think it's just I think something we've been talking about here, voter education. I think that is it's just a result that has been reflected in the invalid votes there. Contrary to what I would say it all the time, if you look at the illiteracy rate, not forget the illiteracy rate. I think that will also translate into how people vote as well. But most importantly, I don't think the candidates did a good job in terms of really educating their voters how to vote, right? The effective way to vote, right? Hey, your thumbprint or you got a check mark, how to effectively vote. And some people, they just got in there. I don't think there were anybody at those stations to say, hey, when you go, this is how you vote, to really educate them. So I think this is what translates into those number of invalid votes. It just we didn't do a good job in terms of educating the, the voters of how to vote. I don't think there's anything else other than that, in my view. Yeah.
Saki.
Yeah, I agree with Gabriel on the voters' education. I think it forms a very important part of our election process, and I blame not only the political parties, but the National Elections Commission
Yep.
should be held responsible for the schedule and timeline of activities on how they were able to reach out to voters to educate them better. And I'm not sure if all of their blank ballots, or how do you call it, the ballots paper that they use for voter education, I'm not sure it was that effective.
Mhm.
I think part of that was it was part of the CDC strategy to reduce voter turnout, because they knew very well the more people vote, the more it's going to go against them. So I strongly believe it was a strategy by the government, and we see the number of invalid votes that also could be contributed to political parties not having ample time to educate their people on how to vote. Yes, it partly due to the level of illiteracy, and there are so many other factors. I think we should focus more on the known factors, okay? And for previous elections, what are those new factors that contributed to invalid votes? Have those issues been resolved? Did the National Election Commission try as much as possible to enforce voter education? Where political party represented in the pool at the polling center to make sure people who had issues with voting, were they told what to do, what not to do? Or at that point, do people really educate people how to vote? I'm not sure. right? I can't remember. The last time I voted was 2011. But yeah, there are so many known and unknown factors. But I think largely it goes in favor of the ruling party if more people do not vote, or if there are more invalid votes. And I stand to be corrected. But going forward, I think the parties will take responsibility. There are two candidates that are going to be in the race. So that issue of invalid votes will pretty much be reduced. I'm not sure Amulai has looked at the previous elections runoff, what the level of number of invalid votes are compared to the first round, whether there's any increase or decrease or that. But pretty much it's something based solely on education.
Admiral, we're gonna take a deep dive on that one.
I'll let my man Mame go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Mame, before you go ahead, I wanted to rest the last for Mame, right? Because he's having the numbers. The reason is there's a whole lot of noise. There's this mix about this whole invalid vote. There are different conspiracy theory. Oh, yeah, the CDC must have done something with the invalid vote, but only to see this chart that it's been progressive. It's from year to year. So, Mame, what says you with the numbers?
To be honest,
before you leave us.
Yeah, to be honest, right on my screen here was, and I've been asking you to send me that stuff, so it caught most of my work up. Okay. I actually set up something tonight, and I was just working on invalid votes. Mm-hmm. Luckily for me, you got something. So after the show, you please just send it to me. What we're trying to find out is what I saw that you show here today, and the person who did it did a good job. There's a trend. But what I want to take it next step is this trend associated with increase in number of votes on registered voters? So what's the relationship between the increase in invalid votes and the increase in number of voters?
Gabriel, can you put that chart back? Let's see.
Voila.
Yes.
So you see the movement from 2005, 1.0 million, 3.8 to 1.28, 6.37, and it increased to 1.6, but it dropped a little bit to 5.39, and then we went all the way. These are the people that voted, the total vote, the people voted. They're at 90, we got what, 98.4, 1.9%, you got 5.88. So there's a little, there's an increase. But there's an uptick from in 2011. So you can go ahead.
Yes. So what I will say here, and we need to keep talking about, is the National Elections Commission need to be transparent with the invalid votes. I don't want to go into the numbers now because I don't have it handy. My assumption is, as the number of voters in the country, registered voters in the country increase, the proportion at which is increasing, the invalid vote will increase at that proportion. That's what I'm saying. The number of registered voters in 2005 is less than the number of registered voters in 2023 today. So the proportion of invalid vote to registered voter in 2005 is less than the proportion of invalid vote to registered voter in 2023. So there's a relationship. But what it is important to know is, how can we address this? The way I think we can address it is not only just voter education. You can't educate voter in vacuum. And that's what we've been doing over and over. We've been conducting voter education in vacuum. What we need to do, and the National Elections Commission need to be transparent. We need to ask the National Elections Commission to open up these invalid votes, so we categorize them and know where people are making mistakes and how they are making mistakes on voting. And then we begin to educate them. Are they just marking 2 times? What proportion of the invalid vote is associated with people marking 2 times? Are they marking between the lines, between candidates, that make it difficult to determine which one of the candidates is voting for? What proportion of the invalid vote is associated with people marking between the lines? So let's understand, beyond imagination, let's go into the invalid votes. Let civil society organization that is around election, ask the National Elections Commission, open these invalid votes. Let's look into them. Let's categorize them and know where the people are making the mistake. And based on that, we'll go and educate the people. We say we realize that most of you are making mistake on voting on the line. Do not vote on the line. Or most of you are making mistake with voting 2 times or voting outside the box. Whatever the case is, we should be able to establish, based on the invalid vote we're having, on what mistakes the people are making and categorize those mistakes. NEC need to be transparent with the invalid vote. The conspiracy theory, most of the elections in Liberia, when I was there, I served as pool watcher or pool observer. The fact is, some people come to the stand on the line for more than an hour. They go to the ballot box and puncture the eyes of candidates. They do that. I saw it.
Are they angry?
They're angry. They don't like the person. They're disappointed. They don't like the democratic process. They feel election not doing anything for them. They just go there and spoil the ballot box and go out. But that is just a minute portion. There's this conspiracy theory that the NEC pool officers, because I know the process, they will normally dump the box, take out the tallies, take out the ballot paper, open it up, put it one side before all the candidates come, and then all the representatives going to be showing who candidate is this, who candidate is this. The theory is, in the process of opening the ballot paper, they had intention to make invalid the vote of Alexander Cummings and Boakai. So most of them, few of them that the people were working with, had inks on their finger that the observers were not looking at. So while they're opening the ballot paper, once they observe that it is Cummings vote, when their hand is down, they just press another person, it makes it invalid, they put it one side. If they observe it is Boakai's vote, they just press somewhere on the ballot paper and they put it one side, it is invalid. That's theory.
So that's what's going around.
That is conspiracy theory, man.
It's conspiracy theory. But the only way you can establish that and try to link it to what happened is if NEC can be transparent to open the invalid vote for people to see which candidate get more invalid vote compared to the other. If only the opposition candidate are getting more invalid vote and Georgia is not getting invalid vote, then it's a cause of concern.
Yeah, it has to be based on facts.
Yeah, I don't want to accuse them, but they should be transparent, open up the invalid vote, let people see 2 reasons. 1, categorize the type of invalid votes. 2, which candidate is experiencing more invalid vote compared to the other. Is it only the opposition? Is it only Cummings? Is it only Boakai? How many invalid votes can be pushed towards George Weah? Let's see that. That would be my comment on invalid votes.
Can the opposition actually ask for the documents, the invalid votes, and say let's see these documents? Can the opposition, or can the court have them,
exactly
that
yes
to be reviewed?
They can do it.
I think it should go beyond the politics of which party gets invalid or not. I think that should be the responsibility of like independent, like civil society, like you rightly said. They have to make the request because that can inform the decision of the NEC and election body on what to focus on in terms of education, voter education, and all that. It has to be something that is not. Let not make it political, because when you make it political, the issue of being transparent, people don't want to be open. So if you have it, available for civil society and other international or independent groups to go into and see where the issues really are, I think that will help everybody in general.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I think it will also help advance our democracy. Like I said, we're building. You got to do the right thing, so the next people coming after you can see that you're doing the right thing to improve the democracy. I agree with you both on that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, gentlemen. Let's. I know 2 persons will leave us, but let's take a 1-2 minutes break, and when we come back,
don't forget. I still have to give. When we come back, I still have to give my point on that.
Okay.
Yes, you will. Absolutely.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we would look at the legislature specifically, maybe on the Senate side. We'll take a deep dive into it. We'll look at specific counties and name some people that are leading. At least we know now it's on the website. We'll look at that. But before we do, and then before we do that, when we come back, we'll look at the comments from some of our participants here, our audience here. But before we leave, we'll take the break. Yeah, Padmo, go ahead.
Oh, you want me to go ahead? Okay. Yeah. So looking at those numbers, what I see a letdown of leadership. That's what I see. Look, the ballot, the election ballot paper in Liberia is the simplest I've seen anywhere in the whole world. It is very clear. They even provide picture. So you say, if you even know how to spell the man name, yeah, how the man looking. You know? I mean, it is so simple. Yeah. And they say, even if you know how to write, to mark, use your finger and just put it right there. It is so simple. I think this is a failure of leadership. Okay? To see, instead of the trend coming downwards, the trend is actually increasing. It tells us our illiteracy rate in the country is increasing right along with the population. Because I'm telling you right now, if we put grade school children together and get them ballot boxes like that for them to vote their friends, I bet you the margin of invalid votes will be by far less. And I'm talking about grade school, I'm talking about third graders, fourth graders. It is if you look at 2005, and then you look at 2011, and you look at 2000, it shows us that it is downheartening, it is extremely downheartening that our illiteracy rate in the country continues to spike with the increase in population instead of going in the upper direction. And it just speaks to our leadership, the people we've had in power. You know, the people who had in power that even if let's just talk about the last 6 years, after having over 80,000 invalid votes, this present government did not even take the time. This present legislature, okay, did not even take the time to call NEC and say, look, we're going to put together an independent commission that will look into these invalid votes, give us a detailed report on what is going on and how can we right this ship, and then putting those things into place so that by now, instead of talking about 100,000, we'll be talking about maybe 20,000. That's how we fix the country. And it just shows that if the present leadership can't do this, we need change. That's all it says. All it says about Liberia, to be honest with you.
Don't worry, when we come back, we'll bring the legislature into this play, and you can hold their feet to the fire. I will help you hold their feet to the fire, please. All right,
in 10 minutes, right?
In less than 2 minutes, we'll come
back.
No,
less than 2 minutes.
You can come back in 10 minutes, Chief.
Yeah, I'll come back.
Okay.
All right.
You can come back, yeah.
All right, we're going on break, guys.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Panelist.
Oh, we're back. We're back. I didn't even know we're back.
Said all right. 2 minutes. You just made a second.
That was the fast. Was it? How long is that play?
It was fast. It was just about 15 seconds.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway.
That, all right.
Yeah, we'll before we go into that stuff, let's look at some comments. Let's try to welcome some of our active participants here. We got Evis Morris, who is very active here today, like yesterday. We have some kind of Waka Loco. Somebody's watching from Nimba. Let me try to pronounce that name better. Workaholic July Big Manajo Gogo, something like that.
What are you reading?
I'm reading the comments. Jimmy Eastman is here. Amadou Kamara is here in the comments. Flomo Livingstone, Sam Waller is here. My boy Haruna Asma and Keita is here. Sam Waller, Richard and P. Flomo Livingstone.
Oh, I see the name you're talking about.
Yeah, the actual factual. You know well.
Do you want to read some of these comments, or you want to get them later on?
No, I want to take some of the comments that are relating to the topic that we're discussing.
So let me know which one.
Comments are many. We may not get them.
Many. It's a whole lot.
Yeah. So there's one from Amadou Kamara who says we should blame NEC and CDC cheating us by stealing our votes. Oh. We should demand recount because they are prepared now to steal all of our votes in the runoff if care is not taken by United Party. That's a comment from
Amadou Kamara. How further down is it so I can put it up here?
Up, way up.
It's already up? Okay.
It's like the fourth comment.
Okay, I got it. Voila.
Yeah, so that is supported by the next comment by so what he's talking about is again yesterday when we spoke, we talked about the integrity of the numbers that are coming out of NEC, and we all agree that there will be issues here and there. There are issues here and there, but on the overall, I think we can go by those numbers. Except, I also heard a statement from Mr. Cummins. I read a statement, which to mean Gabriel can interpret that for us, which to mean appears as a concession. But he also alluded to issues. But I watched Mame on another show where he analyzed that statement from Cummins, that basically what he was saying is that when you're making this kind of statement that something is wrong, then you should come up with some facts, right? I joke about that. Somebody posted something on Facebook and I joke about that, okay, then I just joke like say, okay, then let ANC come out with their blue plastic bag too so we can know what they're working with, and we'll all laugh about it. So, Gabriel, what says you on that aspect of? Before you go there, Flomo Livingstone also supported that recount situation. The next comment after Kamara. So they need to recount those votes. The Appleton guy votes are concerning to me. So, Gabriel.
All right, so here's my unbiased, not partisan take on both the Appleton effect and also the statement that Mr. Cummings puts out. I think, okay, so I take that back. From somebody within a party, even if were in another party, if that were to happen to me, right, I would, in as much as making that statement, and I think that's something he's probably going to do, is to follow up on some of these things. Start looking at, the invalid vote. Whatever channel you have to go through, whether you have to, subpoena them for NEC to give it to you, or you have to go through the court for them to give them to you. You do that yourself to authenticate how those people voted. That's one. In addition to that, I think within the party itself, and if based on the result that I would get from that, I will now recalibrate in terms of one, how do we deploy our resources? How do we end up in this position that we end up in? Did we really campaign when we said we were campaigning? How do we deploy the resources that we were given? Who did we put in charge of different county, and how were those people effective in those positions? So, in addition to the statement and going to subpoena the invalid votes to really take a look at them and see what actually happened. I will also do a deep dive self-reflection, one on myself, and also with the party, hold people accountable that you put in charge to run this campaign. That's one. The appetite effect, I still want to believe this, that I think it goes back to what Michael and I keep saying, is the illiteracy rate. I think somewhere down the line they got Mr. Cummings confused with the VP, Appleton's VP's last name. I think they have the same last name. I think Alex also as well. That's what I want to believe. It's either that or there was some level of, as I said, collusion. But I don't want to sway too much on the collusion side. I think it was just people not being able to identify, this person from that person. And it goes back to the illiteracy thing that we keep talking about here, even though most people don't want to buy into that. But I think that's what I would do. From a party standpoint, I think I will subpoena those votes, check them, check with the people that are put in charge of those various county to really campaign to see how we really spend our money, and then recalibrate. And if you have to move pieces of puzzle around to make sure that that doesn't happen again, so be it. But that's
Gabriel, do you think somebody's going to challenge the first round results? Do you think somebody's going to go to court?
I don't think so. Then, in order to do that, you have to say, okay, if I were to get, even if I were to get all the 105,000 votes, how further up is it going to bring you? If it's not going to do anything, it doesn't make any sense to. I will subpoena it I will challenge it in a way if there's fraud. As I said, we want to perfect a democracy, even though it's not going to be perfect, but it's like you're thriving for perfection. So the next people that will, the next election that will happen, there's something like that happen. Hey, they already know what to do. Mr. Cumming did this when he had these, incidences. We can take the same step to do it too. So again, that helps our democracy grows. But that's the only thing. Other than that, if you're just going to, challenge it because you think it was going to help you to win, you have to look at if even all of them were given to you, is that going to put you close to being in the runoff? If not, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
That happened in 2017, and I don't know how far it went. So let me turn to my United Party friend here, Saki, to say,
Yeah.
do you think there will be a challenge to the results?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Yeah, I mean, from which side? Any side?
Yeah,
Well,
that's a challenge. I
challenge
guess
to
a
the
challenge.
result.
Maybe United Party will. Who knows?
I mean, that's not. I don't think that is part of United Party's plan to challenge the result. And anyone who wants to challenge the result is welcome to do it. And it was, I think, when I read that release from the ANC, the first day after, I think it was the very day that the results were announced the first day the results were announced by NEC, and ANC had a release about some undemocratic trend, as they highlighted in that release. And I thought that they were going to challenge the results to ask for a recount, because they concluded that they are resolved to uncovering the truth and everything about what they term as undemocratic trend. But I'm looking forward to seeing that. Hopefully they can challenge and see where their votes went, not to be based their concerns on conspiracy theories or unsubstantiated facts. The facts have to be established. I think I agree with Gabriel on that's how we can grow our democracy. We have to use the necessary means, not to give partisan the impression that some foul play was, they were cheated without any substantiated evidence. And I want to also say that that release was somehow premature from the ANC, especially with the claims they made in it, that they didn't have the hard facts. It was just based on what their partisans said. And at one point I saw something to talk about what was projected. So I think they should. And one reason I think they didn't even have it published on Mr. Cummings' Facebook page, I'm not sure everyone in the party agreed with that release. But there was something in there that I hope on that they're going to follow up with, establishing the facts, what led to their poor getting less than 2%. That was unexpected from me anyway. But yeah,
Yes.
anyone who wants to challenge the result, it is part of the law. They can challenge it, but I don't think the United Party is going to dwell on that.
Yeah.
Sam Wallow reminded me of something here that we didn't hone on. So bring his next comment. It's runoff time. The game is going into overtime, and the UP folks who are stuck on the false narrative of a first round victory better quickly get their heads back into the game and go to the work in the Southeast with a goal of carrying out 30% to 35% of the Southeastern vote while keeping or growing their round one gains. So, Gabriel, there's another comment after that one, after Haruna's comment, Sam Wallow again. That remind me of what was with 90. He said with 98% of the total votes counted, it is clear that this is going to round two. Can the panel focus on round two and the potential path to victory for?
Actually, that's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah.
That will take us to that discussion.
Sam, when I rush, I need to slow down. We'll get there.
Yeah, no. Let's discuss that because that was on our plate before we even come to the legislative part, right? So that's why I said Sam Wallow reminded me that
Okay.
we spent some time. So let's look at that. I mean, clearly, there's 98%, 98.4% of the vote. There's 1.2. As Mame said, no matter how you do this stuff like that, they're still going to be neck to neck. Georgia and Waka are still going to be neck to neck, except somebody challenges, and then there's a long drawn out like 2017. We had to take some time off to wait for the court case. Other than that, it's going to go, and even in 2017, it still went to second round with all the court case. So, like we just sit here, whether you challenge or not, maybe they will say, yeah, there were issues here and there, but so we're going to second round. So, gentlemen, Padmo, CDC and UP are going to the second round. Let me be definite about this one. What is the game plan? What do you, if you were sitting on the CDC or United Party, what would you advise them to do?
Man, pick
I
one.
think Sam will give us some.
Which one?
Anyone.
Okay, all right. So first, before I go to that, let me just clarify something because full disclosure, I am a member of the ANC, and for the time I've come to know Mr. Cummings, I think I know how his mind works. When I heard his verbal press statement, I knew exactly what he was thinking. He's looked at the numbers and he's come to the realization that there's no pathway for the CPP to win or go into the second round. But at the same time, there are some issues. And issues that right now it's too early to present facts. So instead of just coming out and saying, look, we lost, we're not going to be going forward and leave it at that, he put in a little hints to say, even though we lost, we still have some issues and we'll address those at the right time. Mm-hmm. I think, and I think it was an appropriate way of saying it.
That's brilliant.
Yes. And so we'll move forward from there. Concerning the second round, if I'm the CDC, I will open the vault. I'll be honest with you. I will open the vault.
What does that mean?
The central bank vault?
Open the vault. I tell you so. When they're keeping the vault, keeping vault.
The money.
There's more money in the reserve.
And I will start.
Yeah.
Yes.
You asked the man the question. Let him answer, please.
And I will start. Even though I will engage political parties, but I will go after legislative winners. These people have spent a lot of money. Some of them have credit.
Mhm.
Some of them credit that money to run their campaigns.
Yep.
I will go after them. Those who won, those who lost, all of them got followers. I will go after all of them. And I will make sure I bring them to my side. I will not overlook anybody. Even if you got 300 votes on your side, I'm coming for you. And you got to bring your people.
So Padmo, actual factor is asking a question. He said, who has the upper hand going into the second round? They say UP or CDC, and how?
CDC has it.
And
Couple
how?
of things. I'll tell you what.
Okay.
If you notice, besides the scrimmage with alcohol that led to a death, which was a sedition death, CDC has not really attacked any party. They have not created any enemies.
Yeah.
These people have been very tough. We like to add to say the CDC people know what they're doing. These people have been very cunning. They just sat down and look at the opposition fight among themselves. They never took side. Mm-hmm. Okay? Going into these elections, neck to neck, CDC has the resources. CDC does not have to launch a fundraising campaign for poll watchers. They don't. United Party has to.
Yeah.
That's how they got the poll watchers all the first time.
Yeah.
Now they have to come back and raise that money again for second round. They don't have to raise money to go all around the country. So we are jacking from the southeast, a lot. All you gotta do now, pay attention to the western cluster. CDC has the advantage moving forward. There are people who were government officials, seditionists, who were disgruntled, who voted for Joseph Boyka because they were there with CDC. Some of them felt that CDC time was finished, and that Joseph Boyka was going to come through with a landslide, and they were trying to find a little place in the new government. They are looking at the numbers right now. They are nervous. And they are like, wow, we thought this guy was going to be going away. And he's still here.
You will please move that comment.
And he's still here. I think I need to go back home. Because the way you're looking right now, you know that we are pull this off. So there are those people. Look, let me tell you something. District 7, Nima County, where Musa Belete won, CDC did not even put up a candidate. There's no CDC candidate in District 7 because the people there were convinced, Musa convinced them to come Musa. Musa has won. Musa has won District 7.
So, Padmo, in summary, what are the factors that you think, CDC might pull this one up?
Like I said, the first thing is the resources.
Okay.
CDC, they don't have to struggle for it. They have the resources.
They have the resources.
They will open the
vault. They will open the vault.
The second thing is they are the incumbent. CDC controls all of the superintendents. CDC control all of the chiefs. You know, they have local government under their command. CDC also has a lock on the Southeast. How, as a united party, how do you enter the Southeast after you ignore them? And you made it very public in your ignorance. We don't need them. Nima and Lou will cover that whole group. Those were the things that were said. It's in the point salon here. It's in the point Roger here. They heard those things. How do you go back within 3 weeks and try to tell people, oh, sorry, I made a mistake. I'm meaning that. Please, I'm begging you. How do you do that? So because of those things, and because of the bully puppet, CDC has an advantage. Now, let me speak about United Party. If I was
I will hold you. I will hold you there.
Hold on, let's
qualify. I will hold you there, right? I will hold you there. I will, actual factors say, because I think he was referring to Gabriel's issues about policies. He said, I don't think that policy argument applies to Liberia. I think we should analyze other factors such as popularity, influence, money, and regional tribal tribal factors. And Padmo alluded to some of those things. Yeah. So, Dr. Golofale, what says you? How are we moving to the second round?
You see, if I really thought that my big
But
brother.
before you say, let me just spin a joke on my man Patmo
Uh,
here. He's a CDC in ANC.
I mean, I mean, I mean that's the tune.
Is
That's
that
the
is that
tune.
an endorsement of
You know,
ANC to
Patu, that's it,
CDC in the second round?
That I heard the voice of CDC slash ANC, from my
Go
big
ahead.
brother Padmo, and
Okay.
I think he could be a good strategist for CDC, and that could probably lead to the demise of CDC. But
That's good.
essentially, I think if I
Oh,
were a political strategist for this election, I look at the numbers, and the numbers are our key factor. And looking at the numbers, where do these numbers come from? Those who didn't vote for you, the 12%, about 12% of the voters did not vote for the both parties. Where does a huge bulk of that 12% come from? Lofar, the Western and Central Liberia. That's where it come from. I looked at the numbers. I couldn't do all of my analysis because the websites kept going off and on. But roughly about I think 2 to 3%. I didn't complete my calculation. Around 2 to 3% of the vote against the both parties came from the southeastern side. Yeah, roughly 2%. The rest are came from central and western. So, and we have Nimba, Lofar, Bom, the populous counties where Joe Barker took good number of votes. Nimba, Lofar, and of course, Montserrat are going to be a fight for control. So, if you, excuse me, if you are analyzing, you have to look at the demographics. You have to look at the numbers, where they come from. Those people who didn't vote for you, where bulk of them are. Are they in the western side or the southeast or not? And then where you pay more attention.
Yeah,
But if
but
you just talk about, if you
their
just look,
own analysis
yeah,
thing on here.
yeah.
Way.
If you just look at money,
No,
CDC spend
way. They keep
millions
on
of
let me.
going
dollars.
you mad on you. They
CDC
going you
spend,
mad. They
yes,
going you all gonna attack them
they
on you. You
use
say something
money
about
in Margibi. They
uh-huh.
use over $1 million in Margibi. We flog them. They use money in Montserrat. We're gonna flog them there. They use money
So
everywhere. We
Golofale,
flog
we
them.
all understand the numbers. So
So
what things are you going, what strength are you going with?
Yeah.
What are the things that you're considering into this thing, such
What are
as
the advantage
winning
points
other
for
parties, winning
for
other candidates on your side,
yeah,
You get money.
there are two
going to the
things.
southeast, you don't get money.
You
Yeah.
get money.
No, there are two things. The life of the Liberian people is on the line, and
Mhm.
people are conscious about that. A lot of people volunteer for Unity Party. People
Okay.
give money in. It's not about a party doesn't have money. If it all about money, CDC should win. Money is not the biggest factor here. The biggest factor, I think, is how Unity Party is gonna approach the different parties to see how their philosophy align, especially parties that are that serious, not parties that are CDC funded to be in the election to suck out votes. We know some of them, but parties that are aligned with some kind of philosophy with the Unity Party in terms of policy, like the ANC. I don't like to call it CPP because when you talk about the musability factor, it becomes a problem, and that's another thing for another day. We have the LPP, the Gonglo. We share the same philosophy. Those are people UP have to reach out to. We cannot be going at a time where we were on Facebook talking and being arrogant about talking about the Southeast is small votes. I mean, those statements are not endorsed by Ambassador Boakai. It's just partisan, thing going back and forth and talking. I don't think we should buy into that. We do not pay less attention to the Southeast. They are important. They are Liberians. I think the UP campaign will reach out to the Southeast to seek their endorsement. We'll reach out to every Liberian. Even if you get 0.0%, you are important because you have one vote. That's
Mhm.
the approach the United Party has to take. There has to be genuine opposition unity. Like every one of us that opposition, I'm talking about serious opposition, want to get this nightmare called George Weah out. We have to come about together, put our egos aside, and look, let's get Liberia from the gang of criminals led by George Weah so we can put the country back in the right hand. Forget about egos. Forget about what was told to you during the campaign time, campaign rhetorics, all those things that I said, they happen. But we are at the crossroad where we have one common denominator to save this country from the hands of a gang of criminals led by George Weah. That's why all opposition parties need to come together, and Unity Party has to take that leadership, strong leadership. Without
Can I
How do you take that leadership?
can I say this real quick before
Yeah.
you
Let me
guys?
finish talking. Let me finish talking, please, Gabriel.
Yeah.
How do you take that leadership?
what?
I,
You have to reach out. You guys have sat on the table before. How did the CPP come about? How did the whole leadership of the CDC propel the opposition to the midterm that was successful? You had people like Alex Cummings around the table. You had Joe Barker around the table. You had Benani Ure around the table. Reach out to those people, Joe Barker, and let's talk. Let's come back to the table, the drawing board, and
so
talk.
I
That's how mature politicians do.
so I have a. I don't know if I would disclose I'm an ANC supporter as well. I support Mr. Cummings wholeheartedly, and I understand what I kind of somehow agree with Michael. I hate it, but I agree the upper hand that Unity Party, I mean the citizen have, right? I would hope that all of those advantages were attributed to the Unity Party. Trust me, I will hope that. The reason why, because of where the economy is. Where this last 6 years, every librarian have seen that, but yet still they voted majority, like what is it, 43% of this the people still voted for this guy. So that tell you, even though as bad as he is, but the leadership part you want to attribute to the Pape, it's not there, my man. Do you remember his leadership at the CPP when he was supposed to lead the CPP? Do you remember what happened there?
So Gabriel,
Gabriel,
we're not going to all the
yeah,
CPP.
Right.
yeah.
So
We're
that's what
talking
I'm
about-
trying to say now,
we're
right?
talking
Let
about
me
forward.
just
Let's go
so-
forward. Let's move
let
forward.
me just kind of say
Yes,
why
let's move
why
forward.
let me just say why it's not there. He fumbled the CVP leadership when he's supposed to take charge. Right?
Gabriel, he fumbled the CDC leadership. Stay, he had 43%. And
That's what I'm saying.
Cummings
That's
had
what I'm.
1.4%.
Let me land.
So let's not go there. Let's look at the voter. Let's look at the issues that are ahead of us.
That is what I'm saying. The reason why he doesn't have that ability to go on the advantage to broker deals to move on to the to win in the second in the runoff.
Yes, speak to
That's
that.
what I'm trying to get
Let's
to.
move forward. Yes.
That's what I'm trying to get to, right?
Mhm.
People are going to, okay. So let's say I'm ANC, you're trying to come to me and say, okay, hey, I need your support in the runoff. What do you think I'm gonna look at your leadership in the CPP, which horribly you ran away from. One, two, the head of the ANC person, I think he passed. The old man never showed up there to even show condolences. Right? You don't lead. That's what I'm saying. You don't lead like that. People are going to remember that, right? So that's the leadership aspect that I'm talking about. I also agree with Michael that unfortunately the president has the vault in his hand. He has the treasury. I said this here before. He has all the chiefs in his pockets, even though as horribly as he's been over the last 6 years, right? So I'm not trying to pinpoint as people, but you got to look at the past of what happened as to why people would not vote for you. Even Mr. Gonglo himself said it. You cannot say, "Hey, you and I were in the water, and you come from there." You say you're not wet. So people will look at all of that. But
So
at the end
are you saying because of all these, the ANC will not support the Unity Party?
I'm not saying. That's not what I say. What I'm saying is that every other party will look at these things. When you go to somebody to
So is
ask them for
ANC
help.
going to look at these things?
Let me speak. I'm not speaking for ANC. I'm speaking in general. I said,
but how do you speak for Gonglo?
Can I talk? Can I talk? You keep cutting me off. I don't. You keep cutting me. I can't even land. So I'm not speaking for ANC here. As far as that, Mr. Cummings is going to do his due diligence and support who he wants to support.
Gabriel,
but what I'm saying is
1 hour and 38 minutes. We got to close. We got to move.
I
to
understand
else.
that.
So
Let me land. You will land.
Yeah.
I would say what I gotta say. In as much that I believe is horrible, the leadership from the other side hasn't been there, and there's evidence upon evidence. Now you throw stick in the water, the same water you now want to go jump back in, go take back in. You go take back in. That's the problem that they're going to have, and it's always going to boil down to leadership. How do you broker deals with the same people that you were fighting few weeks ago? And I don't see it on their side, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
Well, I think everything here is
Alain.
about talking about how UP will not succeed or how they will not be able to. But there's
No.
nothing.
That's not
No.
true. That's
It's
not true.
about
Okay.
leadership. He doesn't have the leadership. I haven't heard anything about what CDC, what they are down for, what they could
I
not.
offered.
No, I
I,
said about
I offered. Alex told me to
the
hold on.
economy.
So I'm holding on. I have that perspective
Well,
as well.
but reaching out to
economy.
other parties, are they going to
So
reach out to other
let's
parties? You say with money. So are they going to reach out to CPP with money?
okay.
My
So let's
question.
look at something, right? Samuel says not possible. UP clearly has the upper hand based on the first round voter turnout. Now, some of the factors that we look at in our election, especially in the second round elections, using 2017 as a case study, is the endorsement from other parties. In 2017, Prince Johnson, quote unquote, like him or hate him, he was the deciding factor in my opinion.
Yes.
He was the deciding factor. Wherever, when I did the analysis, I concluded that wherever Prince Johnson fell, that person wins the election. And Prince Johnson fell on CDC, and CDC won the election. Now, once CDC joined, once Prince Johnson joined CDC, there was a drove of endorsement of other parties. Whether you get 1%, whether you get 2%, whether you get 0.5%, the idea in the minds of our people, because like somebody said, they're not looking at policy, they're looking at regional balance, they're looking at tribe, they're looking at different factors, right? They're looking at popularity, they're looking at crowd. So once other parties, no matter you get 0.7, the fact that 20 people ran and 16 of those people decided to support a party, that rings a bell in the minds of the people. Money also played a factor in this election, right? And I don't want to quote my brother Padmo about opening the vault here, but money played a critical role. And we don't know what other, because a lot of pundits, all of us have analyzed these elections before the election even happened. And we had our different numbers. And, the numbers are coming up. A lot of analysis, it's way off.
It is.
Comey should have gotten 10 to 15%. He got 1.44%. Or Jawia and Baka should have led, even though yes, we're going to go to the second round, but Baka would have led, with maybe 5 percentage point or 10 percentage point into the second round. That did not happen. So something is at play here. So going to the second round, what are the factors that are at play? Let me come back to Padmo. Let him give the UP side of things.
Okay. Thank you very much. When it comes to UP needs to exercise leadership. It's as simple as that. Something they have not done so far. But I'm not saying they cannot. I'm just saying they have not so far. They got kind of wrapped up in the whole, the momentum of the wind was at their backs and they were moving. It happens to the best of us. So they made a little uphill climb for them. Can they exercise that leadership? Can Joseph Boyka pick up the phone and call Alexander Cummings? Can he do that? That's the question. Can he be convincing? What is he bringing to the table? Joseph Boyka can't just come with, my man, you need to be patriotic, and we both all need to get together to where we are. It's not going to be enough. Mm-hmm. Joseph Boyka can come with hard substance.
No, but Pablo, I give it back to you because then you're on the same pattern, because your first pattern was you picked CDC as the favorite and all the positive things.
Yes.
Now I thought you were going to bring the factors that are come to play that advantage the UAP, but now you're
no. We see, I can tell you about that part. You didn't ask me what are the factors that advantage the so factors that advantage the Unity Party, right? Mm-hmm. There's still a lot of people in the country that are disappointed with the CDC. But people ain't died, they're dead. They are dead. Yep. Even the ones that didn't vote for Joseph Boyka, they are still there. And they are still disappointed in the CDC. Those people know that if CDC win tomorrow, their life will not change. It might even get worse. Those people in the country, they're there, they've been suffering. They struggle to send their children to school. They've buried their children from diseases that could have been cured.
Admiral, Sam Waller is asking a question.
Mm-hmm.
He said, is there a kingmaker in this 2023 elections?
No, there's not a single kingmaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be the party that can collect as many attract as many people to their side. There's no single kingmaker. Prince Johnson, you see, the United Party already played the Prince Johnson card.
Yeah.
So nothing's going to change over there again. It's already on the table. That number already there. So that one, nothing changing. It's the other ones that accumulate. And you see, I hear people continue to talk about, come in, get 1.63%. Come in, get this. Let me give you a little example of why we have issues with the numbers. For example, Monserrato, District 9. Phoebe Harris ran in that district. He got over 11,000 votes. And Mr. Cummings didn't get even close to that. It doesn't make sense. You understand what I mean?
So, Padmo, let me hold you there because we're running out of time. Let me hold you there. Let me ask you one last question on this topic. Then we'll move to the legislative stuff, right? Just within this time and remaining. And let's be direct towards 2023 election. What happened and going forward? What my question is, we are now going on to second round. What, not for any party, what are the factors that will give, what are the 3-4 factors that will give any party that advantage in the second round? And in your conclusion, which of the parties will utilize these advantages and therefore will advance as the winner? Let me start with Gabriel.
So you want us to give advantages of each candidate?
No, not each candidate. What are the factors at play that will advantage a party or each one of the two? And in your view, who those advantages will weigh towards and therefore the person could win?
I mean, to just go on the back of what has happened so far in this election, if anybody tell me that the sky is blue, I will come outside and check it because of how wild it has been, right? That means you cannot, if even what I say here, nobody knows what's going to happen in the runoff, right? I think, but most importantly, I think the biggest factor here that plays that each one of them has a stake in is, are the other candidates out there now who votes are at stake that anybody can grab. And I keep saying this here and I'll continue to say it. Right now, it boils down to who knows how to broker deals, who knows how to talk to people. I think Michael said it, the key word is persuasive. Who know how to persuade somebody? You cannot just come and say, oh, you know what, at this place, I know we kind of have, disagreement ideologically, but I want you to come behind me. No, it's going to take more than that. You have to be very persuasive. You have to resell yourself, your vision again to whoever you're going to persuade to come and support you in the second round. And I think for me, if anything, I don't want to, in as much that I give advantages and disadvantages for each party that is out there right now going into the runoff, I think this field is wide open for anybody to take. This is a fair play, and it all boils down to who knows how to broker deals, who knows how to make decisions, and who knows how to lead in the second runoff. And Michael keep alluding to that, picking up the phone, even if that means just not even taking. I don't think it requires phone calls anymore. I think it requires physical discussion, face to face, where you actually go and really sell yourself as to what you're going to do for the country. I will say one last thing, and I will end. In democracy, the tragedy is a majority rule, but the tragedy is that also when majority come to power, sometimes they kind of suppress the minority. So if you are coming on the back of to say, because when I win, I will have the majority. When you go negotiate with those people, the other parties that are out there who vote you want, you have to ensure them that you want to run a country where everybody, you will be a president for everybody, not just, I'm just going to get elected for the majority, but how to protect the interests of the minority people as well. If what are those who didn't vote for you? So I think this is a wide open field for anybody to take seriously.
So Gabriel, you say I hear you saying that somebody who's able to pick up the phone and break out D's and stuff like that, right?
Right.
My last question is: so among these two candidates, George Weah and Mr. Bwaka, who is able to broker these kind of deals that you're talking about, and therefore it can advantage them to win the election?
To me, I don't see that in any of the two people. Unfortunately, I would have
So we'll
loved
have
to
a deadlock in the election. Nobody will win.
I'm not saying I will have a deadlock. I say what I'm saying, that deal making right now, I don't see it in any of them.
Okay.
How they're going to pull it off, I don't know. I really don't know. We don't have that in the United Party. We saw how they have been. Unless you can say they're very effective behind closed door, which I think there's a little bit of inkling of that because of how they were able to perform.
I'm a
in the
moderator on
election.
this program. I don't have an opinion about how
Right,
they've been.
right, how they're going to perform in that. But also, and then when you look in the United Party as well, I think they fought everybody on their way to getting to where they get to. So how are you going to distance yourself from that and now come to these very same people to now sell yourself again as the darling of the person I want to take this party?
Again, Gabriel, you're not answering the basic question. You stay caught up into the
I'm
past.
answering the question, but I don't think that's what you want to hear.
These people, either of these people cannot use it, so I believe it will have a dialogue. Padmo, how do you answer my question? What are the elements in this election, in this 2023 election going forward, in the runoff, specifically in this runoff? What will make somebody able to pull that victory, and who is able to do?
I answered that question, but I didn't think you want to listen to it. But
okay, so what I would say is, let me lead with this.
But before you go there, let me say this. Let me review some comments here, right? Sam Wallow said Cummings is not a factor in the second round. He is a liability in my views. He was totally rejected by the Liberian people. Haruna says, I think GMB is very persuasive in this situation because there are so many people who were hard on him and still join him, unlike CDC, who have already broken ties with many parties in the coalition they established. Okay, Sam Wallow came back with another comment on comments, but I don't want to go there. That's too much for one person. Toyo Harris say Alcop is the biggest player in this election, in this second round. Alcop, the Lieutenant Camara's party, he says it's the biggest. Then somebody says CDC has advantage of money. I won't say the other word he put there. He just says CDC has the advantage of money. He put another word there, but I don't want to say it here. So let's come to Patmo. How do you respond to that?
So what I will lead with is I don't believe that for both parties that we are looking at going to the second round, I don't believe there's a uniform approach to it. So let me lead with that. I believe both are in different situations. Mm-hmm. Both have different tools at their advantage or at their disposal. And so therefore they will approach it from different angles. But it will come down to negotiation and convincing. The way how Unity Party will come at this will not be money, or it will not be promises of money. Okay, it will have to be change. Those 700 and something thousand people that voted for Joseph Boyka want change. Mm-hmm. How can Joseph Boyka bring that to the table? Whether it's alcohol, whether it's CPP, whether it's ALP and LPP in Congo, how can they do that? That remains to be seen. That still remains to be seen. If I open my phone to you and show you how many United Party people in my inbox, and I'm like, you still don't understand. This has to come from on top. You cannot shield the old man at this point. He has to initiate. If he can do it, I see they have a pretty good chance. They have a very good chance because people still suffer in the country still have.
Mhm.
The country still have. When it comes to CDC, they have a lot of things at their disposal, and you have a lot of people who took part in this election that are going to be hard pressed for cash, and they are going to take what they can. And that is going to be the CDC way. CDC cannot come to the people with promises of change. Nobody's going to believe that.
Yep.
Okay? Let's just be honest here. Nobody will believe that. Okay, what kind of thing they talk? Nobody will believe change from, but people might believe change from Joseph Boyka. But it's going to come down to a hard negotiation.
Yep.
And can Joseph Boyka. And I keep saying, if you notice, I'm not saying United Party. I'm saying Joseph Boyka.
Yep.
Can Joseph Boyka show people this leadership that people can rest and say, you know what, I'll vote for the party. I know that if he wins, this is a leadership I will see.
Padmo, let me ask you a specific question. Who
Yes,
side
sir.
you think Appleton will get on?
Appleton? Do you know Appleton is a member
Whose
of the
side you
PSC?
think Appleton will get on that one
No, I
question?
didn't ask you a question.
His
People don't know that.
question will answer your question.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay,
What
let
question
me
ask?
put
I'm
it-
listening.
No, I don't think. Look, let me be honest here. Let me be serious here.
There you go.
If they ran the election again, Appleton will not get that. No, everybody know Appleton will not get that. No,
Yeah,
but look,
I agree.
nobody should look. No, nobody should waste their time on that thing. That's my objective. That's my.
So whose side you think he will get on?
Whose side he will get on?
Yeah.
Wow. I think Appleton will get on UP side.
Lieutenant Kamara.
Lieutenant Kamara. I think Lieutenant Kamara will stay home.
Alexander Cummings.
CPP. You mean CPP? I think the CPP will get on the Unity Party side.
I did not say CPP, I said Alexander Cummings.
But Alexander Cummings not in the race, Chief. That CPP in the race. I
Whose
just
side
said,
you will get on?
as an individual.
Well, as for Edward and Lucini, you are easy to answer. Hey, we can't come in now. You want
Because Appleton not get party. Appleton get
It's a
party.
structure. It's a structure.
Yeah,
there.
the structure different. Alcohol
Right.
structure different. What I will tell you when it comes to
Lucini is Apple.
In 2017, Cummings said he was not supporting anybody, but his partisans are free to do it.
Yeah, that was
Whose
a
side
practice
Cummings will get
decision.
on?
That was a decision that was.
Okay, whose side CPP will get on?
Okay, there you go. I believe CPP will get on United Party side.
Tiawan Gongro.
I believe Tiawan Gonglo will get on United Party side.
Oh, so the other people not get structure, right? He didn't run one party.
Good people.
Tiawan Gongro run one party.
I'm trying to explain something to you. Then you tell me the
Okay,
Democratic Party is not in a coalition.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
CPP is in a coalition. They have an executive committee. Cummings cannot get out today and say, I'm going so and so play. Not possible.
Yep.
So,
What
Yeah.
What are the factors?
you see, now he's smiling because the CPP will go to the United Party.
What are the factors at play and how?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, and how either group will capitalize on and how to advance, use that to their advantage.
Well, I think I was listening to Giver and Michael, and what I was thinking on right was going in my mind was, what is common to every person who voted against George Weah? That's the most important thing we should ask ourselves. Around 56% of voters went against George Weah. That's a good number of people who do not want this nightmare to continue. That is a very key factor that people must ask themselves. Going to the second round, why I did not vote for George Weah. You should maintain that reason that you did not vote for George Weah.
You have to look at the factors.
And I mean, that's a key factor.
Okay.
The key factor is the electorate. 56% did not vote for George Weah. How many of the 56% going to go back to George Weah? Are they going to change their reasons for not voting? The reasons still maintain bad governance, corruption, and everything that United Party wants to come and fix. We want to rescue the country from this nightmare. So those people are the people will be the real target for Unity Party. The opposition leaders, regardless of the percentage they got, of course, they will not be a big deal in the election, but they're very important, their influence. I just agree with Chris Waller on Alex Cummings or CPP, is irrelevant or whatever word that was he
That's
used.
Sam Waller.
So, yeah. So, Sam Waller, rather. Thank you. Mr. Cummings, despite a CPP number they got, he's relevant to this process. He is relevant. He is a major stakeholder. The fact that we went in a coalition, and I respect Mr. Cummings' leadership, how the CPP managed to shake the whole CDC base with that midterm election. I always reference that. I say he played a very important role in making sure that happened. He campaigned his stool in the mud and campaigned for the candidates. That's the kind of leadership we need. All right. And saying that he's not relevant, I disagree with that. Everybody is relevant to this process, and we have to engage them constructively. But the past behind us and look ahead. What is our common denominator? The electorate's disapproval of George Weah, the candidates who ran, who lost, who can, despite their percentage, they need to be engaged. Those are another key factor is the regional distribution of the votes. It's going to play a major role. Don't overlook Nima County coming back. Despite the 137K, when you look at the number the other parties got, Unity Party is going to sweep that. That's going to be a wave. They're going to sweep it good. They're going to bury CDC. I'm looking forward to seeing Lofa and Nimba determining the next president, because Joe Barker didn't perform well in Lofa this time. The CDC worked well, and there were other candidates pulling votes. So going to the second round, Lofa is going to come huge and going to suppress CDC, and Nimba is even going to double up with more of the votes that didn't go for Joe Barker. So I think those two parties, those two if you look at the Southeast, most of at least where George Weah or TDC got more than 50% was the Southeast. The rest of the other part, they were kind of battle, neck to neck in Montserrado, in Mangibi, in Cape Mount. Yes, Joe Barker won, but it was not a huge margin. But Lofa and Nimba, those two counties, they're going to come with huge margin. At least I'm predicting 70%. 70% in Nimba, at least 70% in Lofa. Those two counties are going to determine the next president. So there's three factors. I will summarize them. The people, the common thing that made them to go against George Weah, all of them have to come back. You have to meet them. The candidates who ran, there's nobody that's not important. Everybody is relevant, engaged them constructively with strong leadership. And look at the regional balancing votes and focus on what you think your stronghold is, what you can get from there. Don't forget the Southeast. Try to suck those votes so you can what? Give George Weah, kind of worry. Keep him worrying. Don't forget about the Southeast, because we have to get our poll watchers there to make sure to look at every vote that comes from the Southeast.
At the end of the day, we'll not be able to go to the legislative part. So because we're already 2 hours on the mark. But let me ask you one last question, then we'll move to the comments on this topic, and after that we will give our parting comment. Our parting comment should focus on the issues that we discuss and going to the second round, where's the possibilities and stuff like that. Money is an important factor. Golafale, what says you?
Before I leave, let me just re-emphasize what I said previously about money. CDC spent a lot of money. They saw the result. They spent money in Margibi. They spent money everywhere. Did it give them what they wanted? Yes, to some extent, but not to their expectation. Yes, I agree with Michael about how the guy's going to reach out to people who desperately need money to settle their debt, especially those who didn't win. Yes, it's going to play a role. I agree with that. But is that going to influence the person who voted against George Weah previously? Let's look at it. It's a two candidates going in a race. You used money previously. Did it work? You're going to use money, or you're going to reach out and tell people what you're going to do differently from the 5-6 years.
I had some conspiracy about cyber security, cyber thing and all that stuff.
Cyber what?
Intrusion and all that stuff into the databases,
what?
into the NEC databases and all that stuff. I heard that conspiracy as well.
Well, I don't want to rely on conspiracy theories because the librarian, we have a
before
gullible population. You talk anything, people just run with it. But
that's true. I can agree with you. But I think you got to leave. So what's your parting comment before we go into the comments section here?
Thank you. What I want to say is that this runoff coming up is about the future of Liberia. It's no joke, and we have to stand and put our leadership on the table. Put our leadership garment on. Exercise strong leadership. I agree with Michael. I agree with Gabriel. And the issue of leadership has to be redefined on the perspective of the United Party. Gone are the campaign days where we were throwing jabs at each other. We have to be serious. And I want to say one thing, that it shouldn't be a narrative that, oh, we all want George Weah out, so you forced to come on. No. No. You have to be serious and tell people what you're going to do differently when you're meeting them. I agree with my colleagues here on that. Joe Barker has to take leadership strongly. And if that is exercised wisely through his experience and all that, I mean, he knows these people personally. He has to take leadership strongly. We have to put aside the political jabs and all that. It's about Liberia. Let's be serious. The change that we want to bring in, we have to be serious with. I think this is the challenging part. How different are we going to be than George Weah and the CDC? Yes, there's still the corruption thing still on United Party for the 12 years. People are going to use that. But are we going to be different? Yes, there's going to be a different leadership under Joe Barker. That is why we need him to take leadership during this second round going, engage his fellow candidates who lost with respect, and let everybody go into the second round. And let's make sure at least 55% of those people who went against George Weah come back again and vote for the United Party and get this nightmare off our neck. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
I hear Dr. Gulafali appealing to the other parties, the other 18 parties and individuals that took part into the election to join the rank and file of the United Party in the second round. Thank you, Doc, for joining us today. And let's go to the comment section, and you guys will conclude here because we're a little bit over 2 hours here. A lot of people, Mesco Wegwe, a lot of people voted for the United Party in the first round, but will surely vote against them in the second round, most especially in Nimba and Mosurado counties. Okay, that's what he said. Jimin Gaga says, Mr. Padma, my bastard brother, you have to stop beating around the bush, okay? That is a battle between good and evil, and you have to be unequivocal in your decisions, okay? Sam Wallow says, Cummins and Gonglo are likely to endorse VP Walker. Period.
Unlikely.
Is it what? Oh, unlikely. Oh, I'm sorry. Ooh, why didn't I catch that? Thank you. He said Cummins and Gonglo are unlikely to endorse VP Walker. Period.
That's sounds like
that's Sam Wallow's character. It's okay.
Okay.
If you know him, you will not be surprised with that statement.
Sam Wallow also says that at the end of the first round, the reality will be that 57% of Liberians rejected the current administration. That is VP Walker's silver lining. Pay attention to the fact, Doc. It looms large, not Cummins. So you see, he was talking to Gola Fale right there.
Yeah, Gola Fale.
The leader Cummins business. The issue is 57%. So Huff A Andy says Bong and Grandbassa are counties that need more work. I'm sure they were talking about the United Party. And then Sam will also say if Cumming had won Maryland, I would say he is a god. They got on coming back.
He's an anti-communist man.
Okay.
It's so good. I haven't
Okay.
heard none of that.
That is enough. Thank you, ladies and let me say, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the show today. For continuing from yesterday, especially Padmo. Thank you for Gabriel for coming on and at controls and taking part in the conversation. We'd like to thank all our audience, especially those who commented here. I'd like to apologize if we didn't pick up your comments. The comments were a lot, so we just kind of piggyback on some of them. As we close, I'd like to have your parting comments here. Then I will also close with my own comment. Gabriel, you go first.
Yeah, and thank you guys for having me here. I know this was actually my first time being on here. I enjoy the conversation. I don't like politics, but I had to come play quarterback for you guys so you guys can talk. But I enjoy the discussion.
I can see that.
For me, I want to just pick up from where we are right now without going back to where things were. That means going into the runoff as we are right now. I want to reiterate what I continue to say, that the leadership factor and how important it is in order for a candidate to win this is very important. I think Michael kept saying that it can't be, hey, these are my advisors. I will have them put them on the phone where they will call you and convince you. It has to be something where you yourself, if you want something, you have to get up and go get it. You can't go send your stooges to go negotiate for you anymore. And I think what I pity the most are the people, the Liberian people whose interests are at stake. There's supposed to be an easy discussion. There's supposed to be an easy decision. Hey, you look at the economy for the last 6 years, it has been dwindling. Every year we have budget recast where we revise budget downwards. There's pretty much like most Liberian people you talk to, they will tell you the country is hard. Nobody buying. At least Ellington, the people used to get paid, they used to buy. Nobody's buying anything, right? That tells you about the state of
Julius are complaining.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. So I plead the fifth on that. The country is, no, seriously, on a serious note, the country is very hard. Like you can look at a lot of things and measuring factors, and that will give you the indication. And if you were looking at it we were looking at it from that standpoint, this would have been an easy decision. Like, hey, this guy hasn't been doing well. Get him out. Let's try something else. But unfortunately, I think he has that popularity, and we have to be like one of the biggest thing that we the mistake we make in this election is that underestimating your opponent, right? We thought, hey, because the guy hasn't been doing well, so we underestimate him, and look how he has surprised us. So I think to land on this, I would say the leadership ability that needs to be exercised in this runoff cannot be underestimated. Like literally, I won't say pick up the phone. I would say you need to stop visiting people door to door, going to lunch, and really convincing them why you are the best person to lead this country for the next 6 years. And I think that's what needs to be honed, perfected, and delivered on a silver platter with everybody you meet. Yeah. Thank you.
Second round is about 20 days to 30 days time. The campaign time is just short. So all that launch thing there.
The one thing, let me say one more thing. I think also I feel bad for the Liberian people, and I think we said this on it outside of the show before we came on. The fact we have to get away from that. The fact that we have to bring these people back again to go vote again as if they don't have anything good to do with their time. I think that's a tragedy within itself. We have to get away from this whole second runoff and find a better way to allow you go, you cast a vote. Let it
different topic, different day.
That's a different topic, but I think you're not making good use of the people's time. Seriously, we need to be productive. Anyway.
Yeah, Sam Wallace says, Padmo, you don't know me,
Oh man.
and I don't know you either. So
Sam will be
I just wanted to raise that point. So
yeah, Sam will be okay.
you know,
I'm a frequent person on Focus on Liberia, and so is Sam. So I don't know him personally, but we've interacted.
He's always on, yeah. He's on Focus on Marketplace too, yeah.
And he too can predict certain things about me. That's normal human behavior.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me give my.
But before you go there, let you know, fortunately or unfortunately, elections can always see. A lot of elections I've seen, even in America, last elections in America, it came down to the best of the two evils, right? And like what I'm hearing Gabriel is echoing is now we're at a point where the best of the two evils, and some people can decide to abstain from all the two evils. Some people can say, you know what, we got to have a leader, so we got to pick one of the best of the two evils, right? And for Gabriel, he decided to abstain from the two evils. Padmo, are you sticking with one of the evils?
Hold on, Gabriel.
No, let him go. Let him. No. Why you want to put one in my mouth? That's on you.
Gabriel, you did esteem for the two evils.
You see what the main level is?
Exactly. You want to put one in my mouth? I've gone for that. You
okay,
go,
all right.
I say why ABC not in a race that he don't.
So here's my take. Look, we're just talking, interacting concerning Sam Wallow, and you can see, look.
But let's talk about your.
No. I'm just setting a precedent.
Okay.
Many people have been crossed in the last year or two. It's going to take leadership from Joseph Boyka to start to mend that bridge, to rebuild. Got a bridge point. Let's be honest here. That bridge point. Okay, you got to rebuild that bridge, and you got to do it in 20 days. You don't got 6 months to figure that out. So it's going to take leadership on the part of Joseph Boyka to do such. And like I said before, look, a lot of people believe that, if there are people who are in this race, who are in it, to be president would have been the best option, but they really got into this race to bring change. The reason why they have hesitated endorsing Unity Party is because they do not see the change in Unity Party. And that brings us back to poison and a jolobo. The better of two evils. Why do we have to be in that place? Why can't it be good and evil? Why does it have to be the lesser of two evils? And in order for that to happen, I believe Joseph Boyka and Unity Party have to come back to the negotiation table. And they need to come back with hard substance. One of the things that we learned from our whole electorate recently is that they wanted a united opposition. That is why Darius Dillon is senator today. That is why Yomli Kanga Lawrence is senator today. That's why Jonathan Bocha Sigwe is senator today. It was a united opposition. Can Joseph Boyka present to the Liberian people in 21 days a united opposition? If Joseph Boyka can pull that out, there will be a landslide. It will be what it should have been in the beginning. United Party will win over 60% of the votes, but only if he can do that. And if he cannot, CDC will sneak a victory out of their hands. And it's something that we'll all look back on and be like, what if? What would have been if CPP had held together? What would have been if we had kept a united opposition? And I know I keep talking about hard substance, and I'm not, going too much into it, but I'll just give you a few things. Okay? Terms in office. Can Joseph Boyka commit to reducing the presidential and the legislative terms in office? Can Joseph Boyka commit to a government of unity What I mean is that you do not hand positions to your United Party cohorts, but that you look across the opposition and bring in people, real people, that can help to make this change. What is his stance on corruption? What is the benchmark? 60, 90, 1 year after he becomes president. Hard things concerning budgets. Joseph Boyka was VP for 12 years. Joseph Boyka budget, his office budget was almost $3 million every year.
Sam Wallow, I will hold you there. We don't have a lot of time for that stuff, right?
Not Sam Wallow, is Michael.
Into the second,
but okay, so those are the things I'm talking about.
So, I mean, all the stuff you're talking about,
yes.
Other people have different things against the other person too. I mean, the other party. So I don't know how you reconcile that, but let's move forward with the conversation and you conclude.
So basically, in my conclusion, it's going to come down to negotiation and what Joseph Boyka can do. I don't have a lot of faith in it, but I'm not resigned to the loss of it. So we'll see what happens in the next.
But do you have a lot of faith in CDC in Georgia?
I have zero faith in Georgia. I have zero faith in Georgia.
You don't have faith in Boyka. You don't have faith in Georgia. So are you abstaining as well from the best of the two evils?
You can walk a fine line without crossing the bridge.
Okay, so let me say this to you, right? I have complete zero faith in CDC.
Mm-hmm.
I will wait to see the leadership that Joseph Boyka exercises in the next coming days. We have about 20 to 30 days in the election in the campaign, right? Yeah.
Joseph Boyka, for example, has not gone to the southeast. That's somewhere he needs to go. They need to find ways for him to get there.
Yes.
He has not done some work in some areas that there should have been a stronghold.
Even
it has to be hardcore campaigning against a formidable party like CDC that has the resources. That is an incumbent. They have the incumbent advantage. Are you telling Joe Boyka to spend another 10 days having unity conference and appealing to Cummings and whoever he has to appeal to, as opposed to the people who have to vote?
President John,
after you speaking to the minds of the people who have to cast their vote?
I would do that.
A president's job is a very difficult job. Yes. That is the demand. And if Joseph Boyka ain't going to do it,
demand to sit down with Cummings and spend another 10 days convincing Cummings that he should not have taken
it makes it easy, Alex.
You can take 10 days to convince them, then you're not worth.
You don't think CDC will wallop this election?
No, CDC will not.
Do you want to win or you don't want to win?
Joseph Boyka deserves to be president. Joseph Boyka will find a way to bring back opposition let's close. Let's get up to the southeast.
Let's close.
President John, a hard job.
Let's close. Okay, let's close.
Okay.
No matter what.
No
matter what. Anyway.
Do you have a closing statement, Alex?
Yeah. So in my closing statement, I think this election is pivotal. We're going for the second round, as I predicted. I mean, Gabriel, you're aware that we're on a show. When I was going to the fair, I predicted that it was going to go to second round, and between Joseph Boyka and we are. Yes, I predicted that Joseph Boyka will go into the second round, leading the pack. But again, it's one of those things where we do the analysis and the numbers are, different. I also predicted that Cummings would have come a distant third. I mean, but again, I was not even predicting a 1.61%. And I was predicting something around 10, 12, or, likely 15%. But again, these are the numbers we have. So we are going to the second round. I think there are factors that have come to play here. One of the factors that I see is the other parties. Who is going to endorse anybody? Endorsement does not have to do with, it has to do with certain people, certain key people are here, because there is no key maker like like PYJ in this election, Prince Johnson in this election, right? We don't have a brown skin. We don't have, unfortunately, Mr. Cummings got 7.2% in 2017, but he's happy because, in my view, I thought Jeremiah Slaughter was a factor for that 7.2%, but there's no Jeremiah Slaughter in this election as the VP candidate. So, but how be it, I think people like Akop, Lieutenant Camara, people like Gonglo, people like Cummings play a factor in their endorsement.
What about Ure?
Ure? There's no Ure on the ticket on the ballot here. What do you mean?
I mean, does he have any political capital? No.
I'm talking about people who ran and the.
Okay.
I'm not talking about people who are on the side.
I thought you're talking about Kingsmaker. I thought
King and Ure has never been a kingmaker in an election.
No. Okay.
Was he a kingmaker in 2017? Prince Johnson was.
That tells you how ignorant I am about politics.
So it's important. One of the factors you have to look at is endorsement. And this endorsement come with different things. Your meeting and this thing you're talking about. No, people have interest in party. In 2017, Mr. Cummings said he was not supporting. He asked his parties to support people. They voted. So I believe that also it's left with the voters. That we other people say, like Sam Waller and other people say, like Gulafale said too. There are 57% of the people who are out there who need to vote, who did not vote for Joe Buck. But mind you, CDC is a very crafty party.
Right.
They got a game under control. You will imagine how they twist these and how they manage to get the game. And you guys are right to some extent, because one of the factors that Liberian people were gravitating towards, and I believe that when you talk about silent voters,
I did, yeah.
Some of those silent voters benefited CDC because when the CPP crumbled, the Liberian people were lightly disappointed. Because when the CPP happened, Liberian people were happy that they thought everything. We were speaking to people on the ground. So Liberian people kind of feel disappointed. Like some people guys say, oh, the devil will know better than the angel. We didn't know. Is that factor coming to play here in these numbers? So there are so many factors that are coming to play. However, 57% is up for grab. And they voted against the opposition. United Party has 43, and they can grab some. CDC can also grab some. But I think that endorsement plays a factor. Serious endorsement plays a factor. But other endorsement play a factor just for the record. But if you have Lieutenant Camara, you have Cummings, you have Gonglo. If Cummings does the same 2011 and 2017 star, the other people will, I'm sure. If you can get these 3 persons, plus even Alan Brown is coming, I think 7th place or something like that. He's my friend. Surprisingly, he came that position. He may have the 0.82% or 1 point something percent, but he's a factor. He has now become a factor. So again, it's the optic. It comes to the optic. It's not the percentage that people bring on the table. It comes to the optic of the endorsement. So endorsement, also money plays a factor. Because how for example, how United Party is going to get a helicopter to go to the Southeast. We hear issues about United Party not having some pool watchers in the Southeast area. That's this finance. Finance play an important role. But I think at the end of the day, because I'm the moderator, I cannot predict who's going to win. I'm just going to.
We will give you that benefit of the doubt. Please go ahead.
Because I'm the moderator.
The floor is yours, Your Honor.
No, I plead the fifth on that one. So, guys, thank you for coming, and thanks to our audience. And we'll continue in other shows. We'll continue on the legislative side of things. But thank you guys for coming, and I enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, it was a great discussion. Michael, you've been brilliant. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, you guys.
All right. So we'll wrap up and see you guys later. Ciao.
All right.
We are